Hello guys, it's Robbie here, and have a nice Sunday for all of you. And here I am with a backtesting video in this time, and I'm going to backtest 8th of February New York session. And the reason behind why did I choose that day is simple, because I'm going through the whole February's New York session price actions. So yeah, and this is the next day that I have to backtest, and this is the reason why I choose that date. So yeah, 8th of February, New York session, and you can see that here are the news for this session. We have one high impact news. FOMC member William speaks 1 hour and 15 minutes after session opens, so we have to be careful at that time, but the remaining time of the session is safe to trade. So yeah, let's start everything on the daily time frame. I did not delete the higher time frame markups because I believe that it is not really changing. So I'm keeping it on my chart all the time. So yeah. So what happened here actually? Well, price has mitigated this daily supply zone, which was really valuable daily supply zone. Caused a daily break of structure here to the downside, and also caused a weekly swing break of structure with efficient volume movement. And after the mitigation of this zone, we were expecting a bigger reversal to the downside because there is really nice amount of liquid inefficiency which has to be filled up sooner or later. But price has other plans. Price did something else, which was actually struggling inside of this zone, made a full zone mitigation, but after the full zone mitigation, price technically built up an insane liquidity pool right here, as you can see, because before the daily and the weekly swing break of structure, price has created insane amount of liquidity just above the daily supply zone, and after the full zone mitigation, price added 2 more highs to these insane amount of liquidity pool. So after the full zone mitigation, with some sort of high impact news, there was high impact news, I believe, price has just mitigated an upper and higher valuable daily supply zone with a small percent mitigation. This liquidity has been swept into it, and after a small percent mitigation, the daily has changed character to the downside because price left behind a daily zone right here, which has flipped this valuable daily supply zone. And this daily demand wasn't strong enough to hold the price because you will see that on the 4-hour time frame that there was an insane amount of liquidity pool which has been built up for this 4-hour demand. But let me talk about it on the 4-hour time frame. So after the small percent mitigation on this valuable daily supply, which has caused technically a daily change of character to the downside, because here was the previous daily supply zone that has caused an inefficient push to the downside, and after the mitigation of the zone, price couldn't manage to make a new breakout structure. Instead of that, price made a full zone mitigation, created liquidity just above the supply zone. Price closed above this zone, above this supply zone, but after the sweep of this liquidity pool, price has made a change of character back to the downside from this daily supply zone. And this is why this supply zone is valuable. So yeah, price reacted after a small percent mitigation on it, swept insane amount of liquidity into it, and daily has changed character to the downside, and we can expect a bigger reversal to the downside, and also we can expect a fill up of this inefficiency. However, price is inside of this 4-hour demand. So let's go down to the 4-hour time frame and let's talk about the 4-hour price action. As you can see, the daily change of character happened here, which was directly part of this huge liquidity pool. This liquidity pool has been built up for this 4-hour demand zone, which has flipped the previous extreme 4-hour supply. So this is why this 4-hour demand is so valuable for us. But you can see that there is insane amount of really nice inefficiency that has to be filled up sooner or later. But price is reacting and reacted on this valuable forward demand after more than a 50% mitigation. So we can expect a bigger reversal to the upside up to this 4-hour week supply. This is a valuable 4-hour week supply because this supply caused the day 4-hour flip of the last recent 4-hour demand. Here is the last recent 4-hour demand, and let me mark it as a flip. And technically, the 4-hour has changed character here after the daily supply zone mitigation. So price left behind a valuable 4-hour supply here with huge inefficiency, and also this supply caused the daily change of character on this low point. And we can say that the daily and the 4-hour has turned to bearish, so we could expect a mitigation of this 4-hour demand, which has happened. But after this 4-hour demand mitigation, we can expect a reversal up to this supply zone, fill up of this inefficiency right here. And after this supply zone mitigation, we can expect a 15-minute change of character and continuation of the bearish trend or the flip of this zone. However, currently it's far away. Price just reacted on this demand. If the 15-minute change of character has happened, and I'm highly believe that it happens strongly with this movement right here, we can look for longs up to this supply zone or any valuable 15-minute supply zone here on this bearish movement. So yeah, these are the actually this is what we can expect based on the 4-hour time frame. And also we can expect the flip of this zone. If the flip of this zone happens, then price will mitigate the extreme 4-hour demand down here, which zone also lines up perfectly with the daily demand zone. So yeah, technically that's all on the 4-hour time frame. And let's switch down to the 15-minute and let's see if the 15-minute was able to change character after the 50% mitigation, deeper mitigation. And as you can see, it was able to change character strongly. Here was the change of character. Here was the last recent 15-minute supply that has caused the last recent break of structure. But after that, price changed character strongly with this huge movement to the upside, made change of character on several places. So 15-minute has changed character strongly. And we can mark out this extreme zone, which has initiated the whole character changing movement on the 15-minute time frame after the 4-hour supply zone demand mitigation. What can we see here? Well, price is making substructural movements. This is the low point. This is the high point. Why this is the low point? Because this low has initiated the strong change of character on several places. And we can see that price actually reacted on this demand zone, couldn't manage to break below it. It was just a sweep. However, this sweep also made more liquidity for the extreme zone right here. And we can expect the mitigation of this extreme zone. Also, if we take a look here, there is just a perfect trendline liquidity. Build up for this weak supply. However, this weak demand, this weak demand couldn't manage to create a new break of structure to the upside. So more likely it will be weak, and it will be part of the liquidity for the extreme zone right here, which has initiated the whole 15-minute character changing movement on several places. So yeah, this is just a pure liquidity pool, and let me mark it with trendline liquidity. Okay, here is liquidity. I will mark it right here because we have a 15-minute sub demand here that has caused a sub break of structure here. Why only a sub break of structure? Because this is the high point, this is the low point currently. This low couldn't manage to create a new high, so technically this is the high, this is the low, and everything between this high and low is just substructure, and it will be liquidity for the future movements. However, we can take riskier trades based on this substructural movement. There is liquidity just below this last recent 15-minute sub-demand that has caused a 15-minute sub-breakout structure on this high point with inefficient movement to the upside. And if price can manage to mitigate this zone and confirm it, then we can look for longs because there is perfect double tops for possible long movements. Also, this will be liquidity for the longs too. So this is the reason why we can look for longs. And this is the reason also that price mitigated a valuable forward demand. 15-minute change character strongly on several places. So we can look for longs. However, there is a chance to see the flip of this zone. If the flip of this 15-minute sub-demand happens, then we can look for shorter term shorts down to this extreme 15-minute demand that has initiated the character changing movement on several places. And also this liquidity lines up perfectly for this demand, and also this almost perfect equal lows lines up for this extreme 15-minute demand. So yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Confirmation entry on this 15-minute sub-demand or flip of this zone and look for short-term sells down to this extreme 15-minute demand. Or if price can't manage to give us a confirmation entry on this 15-minute demand, then a new breakout structure here to the upside. And after a new breakout structure, here on the newly formed 15-minute/5-minute demand, I will look for longs up to the valuable 15-minute supply zones, which will be like here, which is here. This 15-minute supply caused the daily change of character technically with the inefficient movement, inefficient candles right here. So yeah, let me adjust these lines a bit. Okay. So yeah, technically these are the plans for this session. And let's see what do we have on the 5-minute time frame. But first, let me mark this liquidity pull out for the possible longs, and also this almost equal lows for the extreme 15-minute zone. So yeah, if you take a look on the 5-minute time frame, currently price is building up liquidity for a 15-minute sub-demand. And after this 15-minute sub-demand mitigation, we can look for longs or the flip of this zone, as I said, on the 15-minute time frame. On the 5/15-minute supply zones, we can look for shorter term sells down to this 15-minute extreme. So yeah, and actually technically the 15-minute and the 5-minute is exactly the same. 15-minute doing substructural movements, so technically it's not really necessary to look the 5-minute time frame because this is just a noise. This is technically just liquidity for the future movements, and this is the structural high and this is the structural low point. So yeah, the only scenarios that I'm looking for, once again, confirmation entry on this 15-minute demand, sub-demand, because only made breakout structure to the upside, new breakout structure here, and confirmation entry on the newly formed 15-minute/5-minute demand. Here is the confirmation entry, or the flip of this 15-minute sub-demand, and look for confirmation/risk entry if there is liquidity creation for the 1-minute refinement inside of the flip zone. So yeah, and these are the plans for this session. And let's play price forward and let's see what happens